Welcome. It's so nice to have visitors. I don't believe we've met before, so let me introduce myself. I'm Rebecca Wyland, and I was born November 10th in 1835 in Pennsylvania, to David and Margaret Bauman. I have a sister, Elizabeth, and brothers David, Jacob, and John. When I was 11, we moved to a farm in Noble County, Indiana. September 4th, 1854, I married Jonathan Wyland from Tippecanoe Township. He's the son of Williamson and Catherine Wyland. Like his father, he's a blacksmith and a farmer, and before we were married, he had acquired 126 acres of government land over in Tippecanoe Township, about 2.5 miles northeast of North Webster. Part of it was flat and tillable, and that's where we had our farm buildings and the barns. Part of it was wooded and hilly, and then we had a small 6-acre lake in the back of it, and that's where we set up housekeeping. We had a very large family. We had 15 children. There was 6 girls, a set of twins, Rebecca and Lucinda, Mary Carolyn, Martha, Elizabeth, and Mary Magdalene. And Mary Magdalene liked to go by Lena May. And then we had a whole passel of boys. There were 9 of them, to be exact. There was Winfield, Jonathan Jr., Emmanuel, Daniel, Nathaniel, Hezekiah, Fielden, and then we had a set of twin boys, and we let the girls name them, so they were known as Alfred and Blackford. Sadly, baby Hezekiah died before his first birthday in 1879. My family was just heartbroken. And poor little Daniel, I just didn't think he'd ever get over it. And then Fielden, he was 2 years old, and he was just a little too close to the window during a thunderstorm, and he was struck by lightning. And he lived through it, but he was never quite right in the head after that. And we had to have him placed in the state school in Fort Wayne, and he died there at the age of 17 in 1897. Jonathan taught the boys the basics of running a farm, but he also taught them how to hunt, fish, and trap. We always had wild game on the table. And with the lake, we had plenty of fish and turtle meat. And in the winter, they would haul the ice into the ice house. So we had ice most of the summer, which was really refreshing on those hot, hot summer days. The girls learned the basics of keeping house, and they also learned how to work in the gardens and the orchard. Little Martha, she was always knocking the peaches off the tree, and then she'd say she didn't know how that happened, but that was Martha. We were of the Dunkard faith, and we would all gather every evening, and Jonathan would read the Bible to us in his deep, deep voice. We tried to keep our children educated, but with so many, we couldn't send them all at once. We just couldn't afford that. So every year, we'd send a couple children, and then the next year, we'd send a couple different ones. I always prayed that the older ones would teach the younger ones, and that they would all end up with a fair education. Jonathan passed away in 1898, and my life changed drastically. By 1900, I'd had to sell the farm, and I went to live with Jonathan Jr. and his wife, Carolyn. I don't know if I told you or not, but Jonathan Jr., he was a farmer like his father, but he's also a preacher. I'm so proud of him. And by 1910, I went to live with Lena May and Dan Llewellyn over in Elkhart County on their farm. Their children came a lot, and I got to see my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. You might have seen the picture of me holding baby Jesse. He's my great-grandson. He's such a good baby. By 1920, I moved in with Elizabeth over in Ligonier. She was a widowed, and so I stayed with her until she adjusted to life as a widow. Then I moved back with Lena May and Dan. As you can tell, I'm an old lady now, and I can't remember a lot of stuff, and I can't see and hear as well. And I get this bumpity bump every now and then in my heart. And I have to use my cane in order to stay steady. But that's about aging. It's been really nice talking to you. I have to go help Lena May. I told her I'd help her in the kitchen. By the way, if you're following the road down on a round, you might go past my grandson Dutch. If you see Dutch, would you tell him his grandmother says hello?
Rebecca died in 1926 from degeneration of the heart and an infection.